presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
A sunny Saturday in Colorado. We've got clear blue skies overhead here in downtown Denver, where the D-backs are working on a split of this four-game set with the Rockies. D-backs have been done in by the long ball in this series, a Rockies team that's now homered in 20 straight games, their longest home run streak since 1999. It's the D-backs in Denver here on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Coors Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs and the Rockies, third of a four-game series here. And, Bob, the D-backs today up against a Colorado bunch that has scored 48 runs in its last four games.
Well, we've heard that saying in the game that hitting is contagious, but the Rockies have taken it to an extreme over their last four games. They've scored 48 runs, hit nearly 400 as a team. 23 extra base hits, 7 homers. It seems like a feeding frenzy. Once they get that first runner on base, it's tough to stop the Rockies right now.
Well, Diamondbacks may catch a bit of a break today. Kadire, Rosario, and LeMahieu all normally in there in the starting lineup for Walt Weiss, all getting the day off today against Trevor Cahill. The Diamondbacks, in addition to their lineup this afternoon, we saw David Peralta in a pinch hit appearance last night. He's back in the starting lineup today.
Yeah, real good to see David back in the lineup. And over the last week of the season here, we're not sure what the roster's going to look like next year, but Peralta in right, Pollock in center, Inciarte in left. That's a lineup you might see a lot of. It'd be fun to watch those three guys today.
The D-backs will face rookie Eddie Butler making just his second major league start. Trevor Cahill for the D-backs, and Ender ending on a high note. The leadoff man red hot here on this road trip. More on that coming up when we return from Coors Field. Brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink.
And it is a warm day in Lodo and just outside Coors Field, where the ball has been flying, and that's been one of the issues for the Diamondbacks, cooling off this Rockies offense. Jody Jackson with you as we get you set for first pitch. And, of course, one of the big offensive boosts for the Arizona Diamondbacks has been the maturation at the plate, so to speak, of Ender Inciarte. He's got an 8-game hitting streak going, and it's like death taxes, and Inciarte leading off the game with a single. It seems to be the case each and every day, at least over the last week and a half, and he did that yesterday to get things going for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I talked to Ender about a number of topics about this season, getting called up, and the different things that have led to his success. He told me a little bit about how the coaching staff has helped him figure things out at the plate.
If you see my batting stance in the beginning is different than now. I figured a couple new things that were going to help me to stay shorter to the ball, be more compact to the ball. I think I said that right. And yeah, and they've both been helping me a lot, including Tram, Gibby, all of them.
Well, Ender Inciarte looking to keep that going at the top of the lineup today, looking for that 9-game hitting streak, and he'll be followed by David Peralta, who's back in the lineup. But for Trevor Cahill and this pitching staff looking to put the brakes on that Rockies offense that has scored 22 runs over the last 2 nights. First pitch up next. Steve Berthium and Bob Brenly have it.
Starting pitcher for Colorado is 23-year-old right-hander Eddie Butler. This is just his second major league start. A Rockies first-round pick just 2 years ago out of Radford University. His pitching coach is Jim Wright.
Great stuff. He throws an assortment of pitches too. The basic 4 pitches, though, the 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, curveball, slider, change, but they're all kind of plus pitches. And so he's still in that learning curve mode of what it takes to pitch up here. So I just look for him just to attack the strike zone and not pitch away from contact, and he'll be fine.
Well, one major league start for Eddie Butler. That was 3 months ago. He got knocked around by the Dodgers here at Coors Field. June 6th, 6 runs, all earned, 10 hits. He lasted 5 1/3.
And looking at the pitch charts from that ball game against the Dodgers back in June, threw a lot of changeups when he had the advantage against opposing hitters. Without having seen him before, I would assume he thinks that's his out pitch, but you heard his pitching coach say he has 4+ pitches, so we'll keep an eye on him today.
Eddie Butler, a Rockies first-round supplemental pick in the 2012 draft. He was the 46th player selected overall, a compensation choice for the loss of free agent Mark Ellis. And he began this season rated as a top 30 prospect by both Baseball Prospectus and Baseball America. So they are excited about the future of this young man, a first-rounder out of Radford University in Virginia.
There's a slight delay here as home plate umpire Mike Everett, I believe having some kind of equipment issues, had to run down the tunnel and take care of some business. Hopefully no issues with Mike Everett, but a slight delay here before we get underway.
Mike Everett.
Just moments ago, running down through that Rockies dugout up to the umpire's room.
Well, Butler, after he made his big league debut, and here comes Mike Everett, that was 3 months ago. He felt more soreness in his pitching shoulder than he'd normally feel, so taking no chances, they shut him down, put him right on the DL. Turned out to be right rotator cuff inflammation, did not pitch again for a month. And he spent much of this summer working on shoulder strengthening exercises with Tulsa's pitching coach Darryl Scott, which Butler said really helped him out. Ender Inciarte, and we are underway at Coors Field. It's ball one. Ender 268 and 4 home runs. He comes into today with an 8-game hitting streak, batting .375 during his streak. There's a strike, 1-1. Rafael Linoa will play even with a bag at third. Ender Inciarte, what else is new? Stay hot, leadoff single. He is unbelievable. He's now hit in 9 straight.
I've got an idea.
Just have him bat every time?
Just play the anthem before every at bat. Get the anthem on his
slow the game
iPod.
down a bit.
Well, just get it on his iPod. He could listen to it in the on-deck circle and make believe he's leading off the ball game, because boy has he been good that first at bat of the game.
Consistency is remarkable. So he's aboard with a leadoff single, a 9-game hitting streak, and here is David Peralta. We saw him in a pinch hit appearance last night, his first action since September 5th. Missed 12 games with a lower back strain. And Inciarte already disrupting things for Eddie Butler. 292 and 7 homers for Peralta. The pinch hit appearance yesterday snapped an 8-game hit streak. Inciarte is back, and Butler will keep a close eye down there. Ender 16 for 19 in his stolen base attempts this year. That's a fair ball right back to the mound. Swing and bunt moves Inciarte up, 1 away. A look at the Diamondbacks batting order. It's our Tire Pro starting lineup.
Ender Inciarte doing a great job in that leadoff spot. David Peralta, his first start since September 5th with that cranky back. A.J. Pollock hitting third. Mark Trumbo batting fourth. Miguel Montero in the 5-hole. Chris Owings playing second base. Jake Lamb at third. Didi Gregorius at shortstop. And right-hander Trevor Cahill on the mound for the D-backs.
Inciarte at second, 1 down for A.J. Pollock. 310 and 7 homers.
Obviously, day game here today in Colorado, and the guys on the right side of the field figure to have some issues with the sun early in this ball game. The right fielder, first baseman, second baseman, and even if the center fielder strays over in that right center gap, they're going to have to deal with that bright afternoon sun.
Glorious day here in downtown Denver. Late strike call there by Mike Everett. It's a ball and a strike to A.J. Pollock, hitting almost .300 here in the month of September. Well, you heard Jim Wright, the pitching coach, talk about rookie Eddie Butler. And he says Butler has got to attack the strike zone. And Walt Weiss says Butler's bread and butter is that two-seam fastball. And Wright says he has told the kid here, attack, attack, attack. He says Butler's got a really good two-seam fastball and they want him to use it. And he has got the message, he says, Butler. He knows he's got to attack hitters more out there and throw quality strikes. No nibbling.
You talk to pitching coaches around baseball about their philosophy here at Coors Field, and they all start with the same bullet point. Don't walk anybody. You're going to give up extra base hits. You're going to give up home runs from time to time in this ballpark. Just limit the damage. Don't put guys on via the walk.
2 balls, 2 strikes to A.J. Pollock. Shallow center field. Blackmon coming in, still coming in, and there is the center fielder to make the catch for the second out. Inciarte stays put. Got to bring up Mark Trumbo.
Infielders going out. Blackmon coming in, calls him off at the last instant. A lot of guys moving around right there. Both middle infielders were out in shallow center, so the first baseman, Justin Morneau, was the man covering second base if they would have had a play on Ender Inciarte.
Yeah, the rookie Christian Adames, who is playing second base for DJ LeMahieu today, has only played a handful of games in the big league, so some confusion out there. But Blackmon hauls it in, 2 down for Trumbo. A base hit and an RBI in his return to the lineup last night. He sat out Thursday's game with back spasms. That ball was upstairs, 1-0. Mark 236, 9 home runs, now 50 RBIs. Anxious to see him get one up in the air here in this ballpark. Mark last played at Coors Field when we were here in April, a 3-game series, and Trumbo hit 3 home runs. 4 for 10, 3 homers, drove in 5. He's got 5 career home runs here. They got all tied up on that swing. It's 1-2. Inciarte, the runner at second after a leadoff single. Yes, another one to open up the ball game. He's at second now with 2 down, a 1-2 count on Trumbo. So one hopper right to Rutledge at short, and that's the inning. Eddie Butler strands the leadoff single. We are just underway at Coors Field. First here at Coors Field, and for the Diamondbacks, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher is Trevor Cahill, his 16th start this season. It has not gone at all well lately. 0-3 in his last 4 starts. Here's a scouting report from the Rockies' Corey Dickerson.
Yeah, he's definitely funky, but you gotta have. He likes to throw his changeup also, and his 2-seam runs off the plate also. So you really gotta look middle away and just stay focused on that. Have a plan going in, and don't swing at pitches out of the zone. And I think you just really got to stay on the fastball and just to adjust to the changeup.
Well, the numbers on Trevor Cahill for the year, his ERA is by far a career high. Never in his career had Trevor failed to win at least 10 games in a season. That was before last year when he won 8. He opens today with just 3.
Boy, if there was ever a guy that needs a couple of good outings to end this season, it would be Trevor Cahill. Take a little bit of positive momentum into the offseason and hope to earn a spot in the rotation next year.
Charlie Blackmon leads it off for the Rockies. Looks at ball 1. Blackmon singled and was hit by a pitch last night. He scored twice. A .285 hitter, and he's got some power in the leadoff spot. 18 home runs. There's a strike, 1-1. Hard over the head of EY Sr. and in the seats down the first baseline. Cahill's ahead 1-2.
Well, we mentioned Trevor Cahill looking to finish strong. His previous 4 starts, he was pretty good. ERA of .233, a .122 whip. But over his last 4, that ERA of 9.5 and the whip at .194, which basically means 2 base runners per inning. Pretty tough to pitch around that.
Walks and hits per innings pitched. And Cahill in those previous 4 starts has worked 17 innings, given up 15 walks, 18 hits, and 18 runs, all earned. And has lasted 4 innings or less in 3 of those 4 starts. And he's worked it full to the leadoff man, Charlie Blackmon. Hard to third. It backs up Jake Lamb. The rookie sets and throws, and Blackmon is retired, 1 down. The batting order for Walt Weiss's Colorado Rockies. It's our Tire Pros starting lineup.
A little bit of a different look this afternoon. We've seen Charlie Blackmon at the top, Josh Rutledge at short, Justin Morneau at first base, Corey Dickerson cleaning up today, Michael McHenry getting the start behind the plate, Ben Paulson out in right field, Rafael Inoa 4 for 5 last night, just missed hitting for the cycle. Christian Adames at shortstop, and the pitcher Eddie Butler.
Kadire getting this one off today. And think about the Rockies lineup and the way it normally looks as Josh Rutledge is in there for strike 1. You've got no Tulo, no Cargo, no Arenado. They're all injured. Today you've got no Kadire, no Rosario, and no LeMahieu. They're all getting the day off. Who's left?
Yeah. Well, the Rockies are in a similar boat to the Diamondbacks at this stage of the season. They got some young players that they want to get at bats for. They want to get some innings for some of the young pitchers and see what they have moving forward. So some of the veterans taking the day game off today.
Josh Rutledge slaps that one down the line. A great diving stop by Mark Trumbo for the second out. Mark Trumbo with a stab at first, 2 down.
Boy, just a reaction play that time. It's always a little squirrely when a right-hander hits the ball that way or a left-hander hits the ball to third base. A lot of side English, but that time Trumbo able to knock it down and scamper to the base in time for the out.
It prevents extra bases that time, and so there are 2 down, nobody on for Justin Morneau. 1 point behind the Pirates' Josh Harrison at the start of play today in the race for the National League batting title. Morneau is 1 for 8 in the series so far. He's at .317. Harrison of the Pirates at .318, 0-1. There it is, the batting title race right now. You've got Harrison and McCutchen, a couple of Pirates sandwiching Morneau. Ben Revere and Buster Posey right behind. Corey Dickerson, who is on deck, is in the race as well, if he can get enough plate appearances to qualify. And it is going to go right down, maybe to the last 3 innings of the last game if he can just squeak by to get that 502.
Pirates playing at home later this evening against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Russell Martin, a big home run last night. They are rolling right now, Pittsburgh. Two and two. And the power for Justin Morneau has tailed off a bit down the stretch of this year, but he is still hitting consistently. Only 3 home runs since the All-Star break, but he has hit well over 320 here in the second half. And he starts this off with a 2-out single to left.
And Morneau continues his domination of Trevor Cahill with that base hit into left field. He is now 6 for 9 lifetime with a double and a homer.
He's on board with 2 outs for Corey Dickerson. This is a dangerous hitter. He was on base twice last night, a single and a base on balls. He scored twice. He scored 3 runs in the series, 3, 10, and 23 homers. He's hit in 5 straight. And he belts that one to left center. That's going to get down and roll to the wall. And this should get the run home. They are waving in Morneau. He will score. And Dickerson is in at third with an RBI triple. His 6th triple, 1-0 Rockies.
Well, we heard him talking about it in the scouting report. Look middle away. That sinker's always going to be working away from a left-handed hitter. Try to look fastball, adjust to changeup, and man, he followed his own scouting report right to a T. Stayed on that pitch on the outer third of the plate and drove it to the opposite field gap for the first run of the game.
So Dickerson is now hit in 6 straight. He's at third with 2 outs for Mike McHenry. The Fort getting the start behind the plate. Rosario has the day off. There's a strike, 0-1. And Mike McHenry hitting .325 on the year. This is a guy who in 3 years with the Pirates had a batting average of about .226. So he's 100 points north of that here in Colorado. He's only had 154 at-bats this year, but he's got 7 home runs. This is a guy who's done a nice job, a good pickup for the Rockies in a backup catcher's role. He has also filled in quite a bit as the starter through all of Willeen Rosario's injuries. Cahill's even 2-2. It's 3 consecutive pretty hard hit balls off Trevor Cahill to open up this first. After Blackman grounded out. Trumbo took extra bases away from Rutledge, and then Morneau and Dickerson. Base hits. Called strike 3. Mike Everett rings up McHenry, and Cahill strands Dickerson at third, but the RBI triple has made it 1-0 Colorado.
Jody Jackson with you. Miguel Montero, over the years we've seen it, loves hitting here at Coors Field, but Miggy has had his struggles of late at the plate. Kirk Gibson talking about it earlier today, saying he's drifting a little bit. I talked to Turner Ward. He said anytime a hitter is getting into a little bit of a funk, it's hard to stay back, trust your hands, trust what you're seeing. And Turner said, look, we all know, not making excuses, but catching can be draining mentally, and you get in there and you're starting to do different things physically, maybe because of what's going on behind the plate, and that's something that Miggy, though, has done very well. They've really liked what he's done as far as catching, but hitting right now, guys, he's struggling.
Yeah, it's been quite a contrast, Jody. First half, second half for Miguel Montero, and he looks at strike one from rookie Eddie Butler. I mean, Miggy had a big first half, 11 home runs before the All-Star break. Much more quiet in the second half, hitting .207 since the All-Star game with only 2 home runs.
And you can't help but ask how much of an effect the loss of Paul Goldschmidt has affected Miggy's numbers. You talked about it the other day. It seemed like every time Miguel came to the plate, Goldie was in scoring position or runners on base in front of him. Had a lot of RBI opportunities in that first half, not so many in the second half, and hasn't been able to cash those in.
But Miggy belts it the other way for a leadoff single to open up the second. Yeah, the slugging percentage is what's really gone AWOL along with the RBIs. Miggy in the second half is slugging barely .290. Not a lot of extra base hits.
He's had to muscle that one out there into left field. Elevated fastball from Butler that time. Sounded like he may have gotten off the trademark a little bit, but got it out there into shallow left for a base hit.
Miggy aboard. Here's Chris Owings. Chris Owings at second base, .265 and 6 home runs. CO has 10 hits in his last 10 games. He's also scored 6 runs over that span. That's foul right in front of Glenn Sherlock at third, 1-1.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
D-backs fans here at a beautiful weekend in Denver. Walt Weiss says they are eager in the Colorado dugout to get another look at Eddie Butler here at Coors Field. I told you about that start 3 months ago, his major league debut. He got knocked around pretty good by the Dodgers. But Weiss thought that Butler in that game was better than his pitching line. 6 runs, 10 hits, and 5 1/3. Owings lifts that one to center field. Charlie Blackmon backing up, still backing up, and he's at it at the track for the first out here in the second.
That ball was struck well by Chris Owings. Charlie Blackmon plays center field about as good as anybody in this ballpark, and he took a little banana route to this ball, hitting the heel of the glove, almost came out the webbing, but ultimately able to hang on for the first out of the inning.
Carlos Gonzalez, before he got hurt, and he battled a bad knee all year long, has talked about how playing outfield in this ballpark can wear you out because you just have to run so much to cover all this ground. And over the course of a season at this altitude, it really does take a toll. Jake Lamb.
Yeah, that's another factor. I mean, we've talked about it as a visiting team. When you come in here, usually guys have a little bit of a Coors Field hangover for a few days after they leave here. Now, you can imagine playing 81 games in this ballpark. You know, possibly something the Rockies want to look into in the future. A little more depth on the bench, maybe not play guys quite as often here at home.
One's along the left field line and drifting in the seats out of play. Figure out a way to spell guys more often. It's got to take a toll. It just, I mean, they're so injured every year as it is. There's got to be a connection.
Well, you know, Cargo and Tulo, we mentioned them throughout this series. They never get through a full season.
Ben Paulson getting the start out in right field today. That one misses, 2-1 to Lamb. then there's the pitchers. They are without in their rotation. I'll just go down the list. Brett Anderson, Jalees Chacin, Tyler Chatwood, reliever Boone Logan, a guy they paid a lot of money to this offseason. Double play ball here. Adames, Rutledge, Morneau, they roll it, and that's the inning. D-backs get a leadoff single, can't take advantage. They trail it 1-0. '27th, it's Hispanic Heritage Day, presented by Budweiser. Come early, we'll have a pregame street festival presented by APS. And then the first 20,000 fans into Chase Field get this great-looking David Peralta Los D-backs t-shirt, courtesy of Gila River Casinos. And make sure you stick around afterward. There's a concert featuring Grammy-nominated Latin pop star Christian Castro. For more information and get your tickets, visit dbacks.com today. Good to have David Peralta back in the starting lineup with us. On a beautiful sunny day in downtown Denver, D-backs trail the Rockies 1-0. Corey Dickerson, an RBI triple in the first, is the game's only run so far. And now Ben Paulson leads off the second against Trevor Cahill. Paulson getting the start in right field. Michael Kadire the day off after his big night last night, a career-high 7 RBI. Ben Paulson, 327, couple of home runs this year. Just 52 at-bats with the Rockies this season. And he's done pretty well. 4 doubles, 2 homers. He grounded out in a pinch hit appearance in Thursday's series opener. About a month shy of his 27th birthday, getting his first big league experience this year. 1-2. Paulson played 117 games with AAA Colorado Springs this year and had a good year. Hit .294, 20 homers, drove in 76. He's a big guy up there, 6'4", 205. Called strike 3. Mike Everett rings him up. Second strikeout in a row for Trevor Cahill. 1 down.
He wants it inside on that corner, and that's right where that sinker comes back to. Started off the plate inside, tailed right back to the inside corner, freezing Paulson for strike 3.
Third baseman Rafael Inoa. And he's got just 11 games in the big leagues, but what a start he's had. 15 hits in 36 at-bats to begin his career, and he shoots one down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Inciarte plays it off the carom, and Rafael Inoa just won't stop hitting. His third big league double.
Well, you know his approach is a little bit similar to Ender Inciarte in that he lets that ball get deep in the hitting zone, and he's perfectly content to drive it to the opposite field. Saw him do it in the ball game last night, and now here his first at bat of the game. He doubles down into that left field corner again.
He was 4 for 5 last night. He had never had an extra base hit in the big leagues. And then last night he had 2 doubles and a triple, and he doubles in his leadoff at bat here today. And now Cristian Adames, the second baseman. Young man who had his first major league hit in last night's game. 23 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. Played most of this season at AA Tulsa, hit .267. Some new faces for the Rockies getting a look here. The stretch run. Rafael Inoa, Cristian Adames, and Eddie Butler on the mound for Colorado, his second major league start. Butler's on deck. Here's the 1-1. In there for a strike, 1-2. Adames has spent 38 games at AAA this year. Colorado Springs did really well there, hit .338 with 12 doubles. He hit a lot more there than he did at AA, which happens sometimes when young guys go to the Coast League, play at those elevations. EY Senior always with the quick hands down there. You know what to make of that, Bob. You got a pretty good sample size, almost 90 games in AA, hits .267. And then you go about 40 games at AAA, hits .338.
Well, there's a lot behind the numbers you have to look at as well. Maybe his home field in AA had thick infield grass. Maybe the lights were bad. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. I've always heard scouts say if a guy's a good player, he'll get better as he moves up the ladder because pitchers are around the plate more often. The lights are better. The conditions are better. If you're a good hitter, you should improve every year you move through the system because the conditions are better every time you advance.
Called strike 3. Third strikeout for Cahill, all looking. 2 down in the second.
Well, it's been quite a roller coaster ride for Trevor Cahill. Obviously a season he would like to forget and start over scratch. Through June 6th, he failed as a starter, did better as a relief pitcher, went down to the minor leagues with Reno, had 6 starts down there to varying degrees of success, and since his July 14th call-up, 5 of his 11 starts have been quality starts, but the other 6 have been really shaky.
How about this for a crazy Trevor Cahill stat? 31 pitches so far, 21 strikes. That'll work. He's ahead on his opposite number, the pitcher Eddie Butler. Looking like a pitcher there, 0-2. Eddie Butler listed in some of the records as a switch hitter, but he is in there in the right-hand batter's box against the righty Cahill. Out of Radford University, that's Daniel Hudson territory down there near Old Dominion, Radford in Virginia.
The Highlanders, about 36 miles from Roanoke, Virginia.
And Trevor Cahill through 2 has got 4 strikeouts. Diamondbacks trail it 1-0. So on Fox Sports Arizona, that means the Arizona Coyotes hockey season. They'll take on the Winnipeg Jets Thursday, October 9th, 6 o'clock. We started with a special 1-hour Coyotes Live pregame show. And then after that, it's the Phoenix Suns. They're set to take on the Lakers Wednesday, October 29th. That's at 6:30. Suns Live pregame right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Didi Gregorius leads off the third against rookie Eddie Butler. Rockies lead at 1-0. Corey Dickerson, an RBI triple. Didi 209, 6 home runs. A pair of hits last night, including a triple. He scored a run. Eddie Butler, they say, will get 2 starts here over the final 2 weeks of the season. All part of his development. They're not looking for any breakthrough headlines here with this 23-year-old. More like part of a tryout for 2015. And the Rockies trying to get that first big league start behind him when he gave up the 6 runs on 10 hits against LA 3 months ago. And his manager at AA Tulsa is Kevin Riggs, and Riggs said that, he thought at the time Butler really wasn't ready for the big leagues, but the Rockies just had so many injuries they almost had no choice. Didn't work out the way they wanted. And Riggs said at the time there were some things they were working on that hadn't transpired yet with Eddie Butler. But now he thinks Butler's in a much better place the second time around. It has, after all, been 3 months. Didi just does stay alive there. And so they are hopeful here that he'll pick up some confidence in these next 2 big league starts before the year ends. And as Walt Weiss says, Bob, the most valuable lessons are learned the hard way.
Yeah, sometimes that's the case. And, a guy that features a sinker ball, keeps the ball down, ideally keeps the ball out of the air. That's usually what the Rockies are looking for in a starting pitcher.
And they have watched Eddie Butler have to struggle a little bit this year. I mean, he cruised through the minors up until this season. And he was really good. Drafted just 2 years ago, after all. Didi reaches down and pokes that foul ground third base side. Noah has room, and he's got it right near the tarp. 1 down in the third. Trevor Cahill now.
Yeah, I think most organizations agree with the idea that you'd like, especially a number 1 pick, a guy that's obviously had a lot of success everywhere he's ever pitched. You'd like to see him fail at the minor league level and learn how to rebound from that before you bring him to the big leagues and have it be the first time you fail in the major leagues. That creates a lot of doubt in your own mind as a pitcher and as a player. Geez, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Big leagues is tough.
Trevor Cahill knocks that one the other way, but Paulson's got it in right, 2 down.
But if you've struggled at AA or AAA in front of 1,500 people and come back and work on your next side session, try to get a little better, and rebound from some failures at the minor league level, you're more apt to handle it better here at the major league level, because you are going to fail here from time to time. I don't care how good you are,
especially in this ballpark.
Woo.
Ender Inciarte, a single to lead off the ball game. Yeah, Butler only drafted 2 years ago. He went from college to the draft and right to rookie ball right after he was drafted. And boy, he must have thought, this pro ball is easy. He was 7-1 in the Pioneer League, a 2.13 ERA in his first half season as a pro, and got even more attention the next year, which was last season. Went through 3 different levels of the Rocky system and finished with a 1.80 ERA. He just kept climbing up the charts. And this year spent almost all his time with AA Tulsa, the Texas League. 6-9 in ERA at 3.5. Here's a bouncer to second. Cristian Adames has it, and Eddie Butler has retired 5 in a row. He leads it 1-0.
a great group of guys. We hadn't had the season we wanted to, but the team's stuck together. We all had great attitudes. Good friends in here. Just very blessed. The Lord has blessed me with a good year. On the field. I'm healthy. Finished the year strong. Velocity was up there tonight. I'm just thankful to be in this position, to be in the big leagues, and hopefully continue as a career. And it's been good to be around these guys.
Chase Anderson summing up what was a successful season after his final start of 2014. A career high in innings pitched. As he said, number one was staying healthy, which had been a troublesome spot for him, for Chase. That was the one thing coming up through the minors that he needed to do. He learned a lot about how to prepare for each and every start. And Bob, I loved what you talked about yesterday out on the mound. The one thing with Chase is nicest guy, very loose inside the clubhouse, always friendly, willing to talk. When he gets out on the mound, though, extremely serious, good or bad, you don't know how it's going. He's very, very poised, and that's important for any starting pitcher.
Yeah, Chase Anderson talking about what he's learned from some of his teammates this year. I think some of his teammates could learn from Chase Anderson and the way he handles himself out there on the mound.
Yeah, that was apparent from the very first time we saw Chase. It was impossible to tell by his body language and demeanor, and we often said this over the course of the year, if he was ahead or behind in the game.
Yeah, the most important thing is the next pitch. Can't worry about what's already happened. All you can do is focus on making that next good pitch, get yourself out of a jam or get yourself out of an inning. Keep moving forward.
Cahill ahead of Charlie Blackmon, 0-2. Here's a guy that was a very good high school pitcher, Charlie Blackmon, in his native Georgia. Big, tall, lanky left-hand pitcher drafted by the Marlins. Never threw very hard, upper 80s. And then started to develop some elbow problems in junior college after he moved on to Georgia Tech. So they sat him down a bit and said, all right, well, why don't you try hitting? And he said, okay. So he went out there and he hit .396 at Georgia Tech his first year there. Wound up as a second-round draft pick by the Rockies.
It's unusual that the Braves didn't draft him. The Atlanta Braves, I've said this before, they draft their region as good as any team in baseball. They rarely miss a high school star or a college superstar. They like to take those homegrown guys.
That's a foul ball. Well, it's never been easy for Charlie Blackmon after he was drafted in that second round. That was back in 08. Broke in with the Rockies 3 years later, but was hampered by a broken foot. And a good year in the minors in 2012. Played about 40 games here. And then last year, a staph infection in his right knee to begin the season. Really wasn't able to get going until the second half of the year. But once he did, he hit well over 300. And he drives this one to deep center field. It's off the base of the wall. A.J. Pollock won't get there, and Blackmon is going to get 3 here. Charlie Blackmon, his third triple. Second triple in the ball game for the Rockies.
Once again, a well-struck ball, no question about it, but it just carries and carries and carries. And even with A.J. Pollock's speed, and he got a pretty good jump on that ball, just can't catch up to it. It's right at the base of the fence out there, just to the left of straightaway center for a leadoff triple.
Rockies have 4 hits so far off Cahill, 2 doubles and a triple. And Blackmon's at third to lead it off here in the third for Josh Rutledge. Rutledge grounded out his first time, hit a rocket down the first base line that Mark Trumbo made a diving stab at to take away extra bases. He's 0 for 1. There's another drive, almost the same spot in center field. That one, though, is carrying, and it's gone, a home run. Josh Rutledge, his 4th, and it's 3-0 Rockies. They have now hit home runs in 21 straight games.
This time it was a breaking ball on the outer third of the plate. Didn't quite get down there where he wanted it. And Rutledge really put a charge on that ball.
A triple and a home run open up the third against Cahill. Here's Justin Morneau, who singled and scored his first time up. Morneau 2 for 9 in the series so far. 1-1. This is well hit to right field. Peralta trying to find it up there, and he lost it in the sun. And Morneau is in at second. A bright sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. That goes in the books as a double. And so the Rockies, with their first 3 batters in this third inning, are a single shy of the cycle.
Not a bad pitch that time from Cahill. A sinker working its way down. David got his hand up late to try to block the sun. I don't know if he ever had a good beat on that ball. And I know a lot of fans at home are saying that should be an error on David Peralta, but historically in the game of baseball, if you lose a ball in the sun, you're not penalized for it. That'll go as a double for Morneau.
Mike Harkey to the mound. Cahill gave up a Morneau single and a Dickerson triple in the first. Struck out McHenry looking to end the first. Enoa doubled in the second, but Cahill got 3 strikeouts in that inning. 4 Ks through 2. But so far to open up the third, Blackman triple, Rutledge homer, Morneau double. And now here's the dangerous Dickerson, who had an RBI triple his first time up.
Boy, and really troubling that the Rockies are not having soft contact. Every ball they put into play has been hit right on the button. The only easy outs he's had are the punch outs in this game. Even the balls that have been put in play for outs have been hit hard.
Oh, 1-1 to Corey Dickerson. The Rockies, including today, have 8 games left this year. Dickerson began today 41 plate appearances shy of qualifying for the batting title, which he's got a shot to win. But he's got to play every day and get 5 plate appearances a game to have a chance to just squeak by and qualify. But he's only 4 or 5 points out of the lead right now.
That's why I mentioned last night I was really surprised that Dickerson took a base on balls in the 5th inning. I thought he'd be up there hacking.
He's hit in 6 straight now. Another well hit ball to dead center field. This one is in shallow left center though, and drifting over is Ender Inciarte. Morneau will tag and go for third. And he's in there. And heads up base running by the veteran, Justin Morneau. That was hit to shallow left center. But Morneau, who's never been known for his wheels out there, picks up an extra 90 feet.
Yeah, a little surprised he tried to advance right there. I'm sure our advance reports on Ender Inciarte's arm and the fact he can get a little erratic, and once again the high throw allowed Morneau to slide in easily and move 90 feet closer to home.
One away from Mike McHenry, struck out looking his first time. Infield will come in for the D-backs.
I think maybe for Ender Inciarte, they ought to have him when he plays catch pregame, one hop everything to the guy he's playing catch with. Just to get in the habit of keeping the ball down, keep it down. He's got such a strong arm. If he would keep the ball down, he's going to get that big true hop off the grass. Be much more functional throw than just trying to airmail it every time.
50 pitches for Cahill, 34 for strikes. The 1-0 to McHenry is hit hard but foul. That one almost got Morneau standing in foul territory at third base.
Even this late in the season, we'll remind you that's why the runner leads off in foul territory from third base. If he happened to get hit by that ball, it just would have been a foul ball. If he's standing in fair territory, he would have been out.
McHenry can hold up there. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
You see Morneau well into foul territory there. Had that hit him. No harm, no foul, just a foul ball. Maybe a bruise, but.
Right between Morneau and Stu Cole coaching down there at third. That's a foul ball as well. We got Mike McHenry up at the plate, 5'10". We just had that shot of Ben Paulson standing behind him, and he's getting one of those sneak peeks in the on-deck circle. Paulson is a big dude, 6'4". He's kind of towering over things behind home plate.
That's what Todd Helton used to do all those years he played here for the Rockies. Sneak up there in that on-deck circle, try to get a look at the pitcher's release point, his arm angle, any edge you can possibly get before stepping in that batter's box.
Paulson just looks like the Jolly Green Giant standing back there. There's Todd Helton, the number 17, retired earlier this year.
Now there you can see the angle that Ben Paulson has. He's trying to sneak up there and get a better look at Trevor Cahill while Michael McHenry takes this at bat.
McHenry strikes out, 5 strikeouts for Cahill, 2 down in the third, and we'll get a look at Paulson. Paulson, a strikeout victim his first time up. Ben Paulson from Kell High School in Marietta, Georgia. That's the same high school that produced the D-back Zeke Sproul. They were teammates, in fact. Sproul went on to be drafted by the Braves. Paulson went to Clemson. 3rd round pick in 2009 by the Rockies. Kind of like he broke his bat. Little blader, that's going to drop for a run. All this ground to cover, and Bob, you talked about this the first game. We've seen it throughout this series. There's tons of room out there in the shallow portions of this outfield.
Well, I've talked to the Rockies bench coach Tom Runnels about this very thing. He insists that there are a lot more base hits like this than there are balls that end up in the seats or in the gaps because of the thin air. The outfielders have to play so deep that a lot of those broken bat floaters or balls cued off the end of the bat tend to drop in, where in other ballparks they would probably be caught.
Rockies have hit for the cycle in this inning. Blackman tripled, Rutledge homered, Morneau doubled, and now the RBI single by Paulson makes it 4-0. Here's Rafael Ynoa, who doubled his first time up. 27-year-old rookie. Mentioned this when he was on base last time. Last night 4 for 5. He had never had an extra base hit in the major leagues. And then last night 2 doubles and a triple. And he's 1 for 1 with a double here so far today. Last night was just Rafael Ynoa's 11th game in the major leagues, but his 3rd already with at least 3 hits. And he's ahead on Trevor Cahill, 2-0. $60 pitches for Cahill, 41 strikes. Rockies have out-hit the D-backs 7-2. They lead it 4-0. 2-2 now on Rafael Ynoa. In the air, right center field. A.J. Pollock fighting that sun. And that's the inning. But the Rockies get 3. They take a 4-0 lead. CenturyLink, you're linked to what's next. Mark Trumbo loves to hit in this ballpark. He's due up 3rd in the Arizona 4th. The D-backs trail the Rockies 4-0, and fans, now's the time. Don't forget, tweet us your fan photo on the Twitter with a hashtag and the whole thing, AZFanPhoto, for your chance to have your fan photo shown in our game broadcast later today. Brought to you by AT&T, and once again, Jeff Munn is on the clock.
Yes, he is. And I expect a good one today because his full attention should be on the AT&T fan photo. The governor back at the mic on the radio side, so Money's got nothing else to do to get ready for the AT&T photo.
Well, he got pre- and post-game responsibilities,
well, yeah.
But yeah, he's got some downtime here. Can start scrolling through some pictures. David Peralta back in the starting lineup. His first action since September 5th was last night, a pinch hit appearance. He tapped back to the mound his first time up today. Rookie Eddie Butler, just his second major league start. He's given up only 2 hits. He's got a 4-0 lead. And he was told attack, attack, attack the strike zone. 38 pitches so far, 25 for strikes. But he's behind on Peralta, 3-1. Peralta, Pollock, Trumbo, 2, 3, and 4 in the Diamondback 4th. Leadoff man aboard. First walk issued by Eddie Butler. Here's AJ, who flying out to center his first time up. Strike one. D-backs 2 more to go against these Rockies this year, both this weekend at Coors Field, today and tomorrow. D-backs lead the season series 9-8. They are 4-4 here this year at Coors, as we conclude NL West play for the year this weekend. 2 more games here, and then 3 in Minnesota before the final series of the season. That's home at Chase Field against the Cardinals. That's next weekend. The season ends, Bob Brenly, a week from tomorrow.
Where did it go? Started with such great optimism. That long flight over to Sydney, Australia.
Seems like a long time ago.
And now we're watching the battle for the basement here between the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Right now, the Diamondbacks a game behind the Rocks. take the last 2 games of this series and crawl out of last place and hope to stay out of last place.
Rockies, with last night's win, moved out of last in the NL West for the first time since July 13th. And the win last night also guaranteed that Colorado will not lose 100 games this year. And the Rockies, despite their occasional struggles over the years, have never had a 100-loss season. Colorado and Anaheim, the only 2 major league franchises never to lose 100. Right behind Glenn Sherlock at third. 2-2 on A.J. Pollock. Peralta at first after the leadoff walk. Rockies with 1 in the first and 3 in the third. Dickerson an RBI triple. Rutledge a 2-run homer. Paulson an RBI single. 4-0 Colorado. Two is bounced over the mound. Rutledge will step on the bag himself, and Pollock beats it out. No double play.
A little bit of a tweener right there for Rutledge, caught in between whether to flip that ball on to the second baseman or try to make the play himself. And just that little bit of a delay gave A.J. enough time to beat the relay on to first base. I think he probably would have been better served to shovel on to Adames right there and let him try to turn.
A 1-out base runner now for Mark Trumbo. Trumbo grounded out his first time up. Trying to close out the season feeling good offensively. 17 games so far in September. Mark has 15 hits and 11 RBIs. And he says he's been trying to hit the ball in the air more. And he knows there's not a real big payoff for anyone if he's hitting the ball on the ground. He's not going to beat out too many infield singles. And if there was ever a ballpark where you want to get it up in the air, it's right here.
Ideally, get pitches up in the zone. Swing straight up.
Well,
no, not really. But some of us tried that, but yeah, for Mark Trumbo more than anything else, just get good pitches that you can possibly elevate in the air to the outfield. There's one right there.
Here we go. Just missed us.
Got one up right there. Fastball belt high, inner third of the plate. Just a little under.
Our man Pat here was ducking for cover. This is your home park. He wants no part of it. 50th pitch from Eddie Butler on the way. A.J. Pollock takes off. Trumbo hits it up the middle. Rutledge will settle for the out at first with Pollock off on the pitch, and that's the second out. A.J.'s in at second. Brings up Miguel Montero. Miggy singled his first time up. We're talking about how Miggy's slugging percentage and RBI production have really dropped since the All-Star break. He's got one extra base hit in his last 20 games. And the production from Miggy, and he's usually, 4, 5, 6 somewhere in there in the order where you need your run producers.
And Miggy looks a little beat down too. You're just judging from his body language, really frustrated with himself there. Chased a bad pitch on that first delivery. Not only Miggy, but just about any hitter in the major leagues, it all comes down to pitch selection. If you're swinging at good pitches that can be hit hard, you're probably going to be more productive. If you're chasing pitchers' pitches, especially when the count's in your favor, you're probably going to make a lot of easy outs.
The late great Ted Williams always said he learned everything he knew about hitting from Bill Terry and from Rogers Hornsby. And he would always say the first rule of hitting, get a good pitch to hit, right?
Get a good pitch to hit, yeah. I mean, you occasionally get a base hit. You might even occasionally get an extra base hit or a home run swinging at a ball that's out of the zone. But over the course of a long season, it's going to catch up to you. First pitch of an at bat, 2-0, 3-1. It has to be something you can barrel up and hit hard somewhere, not just put it in play.
He's in a hitter's count right here, 2 balls and a strike. Is there any way to define why some guys are better at strike zone discipline or recognition than others?
I think it probably goes all the way back to Little League or when they first started playing baseball. Some guys, even at the Little League level, if you watch youth league games, they don't swing at bad pitches. Other guys will swing at balls over their head or in the dirt, and I think it just carries through as you move forward in your career. I don't know if that's something that can be taught or learned. I think you can get a little bit better at it, but I think Theo Epstein in his time with the Red Sox and now with the Chicago Cubs, that's what they look for. Guys at the youth levels that will take walks and will work counts, because that will translate all the way through their career. Pretty tough to teach that.
Kind of like base running speed, I guess, or raw power. You either have it or you don't. Shallow center field. Charlie Blackmon comes in, and that's the inning. So no trouble with that leadoff walk for Eddie Butler. He leads it 4-0. Dodgers led the Cubs 6-1 at one point, but Chicago got 4 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th. This big home run here, Chris Coghlan off Brian Wilson in the 8th inning. Coghlan hit 2, and the Cubbies down 6-1 come back to beat the Dodgers 8-7.
How about that? Brian Wilson giving up a long ball to the bleachers in right field. Looked like he wasn't any too happy with Chris Coghlan's celebration around first base there, but you don't want guys celebrating on home runs. Don't give up home runs.
Luis Gonzalez hit 2 for the Dodgers. He's now got 25 on the year. Coghlan 2 for the Cubs. So LA drops one at Wrigley. The Giants are at San Diego tonight. Ismael Petit and Andrew Kashner. Bottom 4 here at Coors Field. Rockies lead the D-backs 4-0. Christian Adames leads it off for Colorado. Adames, Butler, Blackmon 8-9-1. Adames struck out looking his first time. Had his first major league hit last night. And Miggy will apply the tag to complete the strikeout. That's 6 strikeouts now for Trevor Cahill, 1 down. Here's Eddie Butler, the pitcher. So the Dodgers lose in Chicago. Giants later tonight in San Diego. Right now, they are 3 back. They can make it 2.5 with a win over the Padres. What's your status with the Giants now on the old heartstrings? Long time Giant, you played there a decade. And...
Oh yeah, I mean I still have a fondness in my heart for the Giants, but as you might expect from the time I was there, there aren't a lot of people still left with the organization. But I think every player has a certain affinity for their first team in professional baseball, and first time you put on that uniform, it's always special.
7 strikeouts now for Cahill, 2 down.
Let's just put it this way: I have a little stronger connection to the Giants than I do to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, those were good times at Old Exhibition Stadium. Don't sell yourself short. Charlie Blackmon tripled and scored his last time.
I just consider myself very fortunate to be part of that rivalry, Giants and Dodgers. I know coming from the East Coast, the Yankees, Red Sox, if you're from the Midwest, the Cubs and the Cardinals. Anytime you get an opportunity to get involved in those kind of rivalry series, that was a lot of fun back in the day. Still is.
We always have that clip of you from your Giant days where you say, "I'm Bob Brenly and I hate the Dodgers."
Yeah, that's when I was young and dumb and the producer told me to say it, so I said it.
If only it worked that way now.
Yeah, forget it.
Bill Cochran, your thoughts. Cahill a strike away from getting the side in order here in the 4th. Wow, Blackmon just belts that into right. 2-out single for Charlie Blackmon. He's 2 for 3. Here's Rutledge, a 2-run homer to deep center field his last time up. The homer is 4th of the year. A lot of these guys with the Rockies have good college pedigrees. We mentioned Charlie Blackmon at Georgia Tech, and Ben Paulson at Clemson, DJ LeMahieu, LSU. Josh Rutledge played at Alabama. A longtime starter at shortstop for the Crimson Tide. He was starting for Alabama at shortstop as a freshman. Led the team in hitting that year. And he's got another base hit here up the middle. Blackmon will stop at second.
Talked about the feeding frenzy earlier. When this Rockies offense gets going, they really feed off of those base runners. It seems like you have a real hard time getting that next out to get yourself out of a jam. And now you're right into the teeth of today's Rockies lineup.
And that is Justin Morneau bidding for the National League batting title, and he's having a good day. A single and a double. He has scored twice. Trying to put the pressure on Josh Harrison. He began the day only 1 point behind Harrison for the National League batting title. Now he's got it up to 320. And it was at 317 to start the ball game. Trevor humps it up, 92, 0-1. Morneau has been feasting on right-hand pitching this year. Better than .340 against righties, including 13 of his 16 homers. Pitcher's mound in bright sunlight. Batter's box is now encased in the shadow by the light standard there. And maybe Morneau having trouble picking the ball up. It's 0-2. Cahill bringing the heat here against Justin Morneau.
Those almost look like four-seamers. Very little sink, very little movement. Just rears back and throws a four-seamer up in the zone as hard as he can.
And he strikes out Morneau on 3 pitches. And there's the strikeout to strand 2. Trevor Cahill, 8 strikeouts through 4. But the D-backs trail it 4-0. Banquet timeless moment. It was on this day back in the day that Cal Ripken finally took himself out of the Orioles starting lineup. 2,131 consecutive games. September 20th, 1998. The streak ended at 2-6-3-2. 2-1-3-1 was the record breaker. Where do you put that? I mean, can you imagine what he would have done if he had taken, 10 games off a year?
Especially in the latter stages of his career when some of his physical gifts had deserted him. But you really have to tip your cap, honest to God, to anybody that shows up 2,600 days in a row to work. I don't care what your job is. But yeah, I agree. I think if at some point after he got that record, if he'd have backed off a little bit, been a little more selective in his playing time, he might have put up even better numbers.
Now he's a Hall of Famer for sure. Cal Ripken finished his career with 3,184 hits, a .276 lifetime hitter, over 21 years in the big leagues. And Chris Owing strikes out to open up the 5th. That's the first strikeout today for rookie Eddie Butler, who is pitching a beauty in his second major league start.
Yeah, shows a good breaking ball here. He hasn't thrown a lot of off-speed breaking pitches. A lot of downward movement on that slider on the outer third of the plate. Gets a swing and a miss from Chris Owings.
Jake Lamb hit into a double play his first time up. Cal Ripken was MVP of the American League twice. 83, the year they won the World Series, beat the Phillies. And 91 when he hit .323, 34 home runs. But then you look back at after the 91 season for Cal, the last time he was an MVP. At that point, the streak now is really got something going here. And you can see the toll that it took just in the numbers. As Jake Lamb belts that one hard to right, Paulson looks up, and that ball is gone, a home run. Jake Lamb is fourth, and the D-backs are on the board. It's 4-1. And put Jake Lamb on that list along with Ender Inciarte, David Peralta, and some others of D-backs rookies who just keep looking better and better. That ball was smoked.
Yeah, it was. Some of the home runs we've seen in this series have been towering, majestic fly balls that just keep carrying. This was just a rocket line drive. The only question is it high enough to get out of the ballpark? Got that higher wall out there with the out-of-town scoreboard. Hits above the yellow line and off that railing in front of the stands for a homer.
Jake Lamb, now 11 hits in his last 11 games, including 2 homers. Didi popped up his first time. To finish up that thought on Cal Ripken, last time he won the AL MVP, he was 30 years old in 91 at .323, but then the batting averages after that, as the streak really wore on. That one bit Didi a bit here. Ripken in 92 at .251. Next year at .257. It was up again, .315. And .262, .278, .270, .271. Kind of pedestrian numbers. And you imagine, a day off here or there over the course of that stretch, and the numbers might have been different. But what a career it was, that's for sure. More than 3,100 hits. And Gregorius knocks that one into right for a 1-out single.
You know who took over as shortstop for the Orioles?
Wow.
I had to look it up.
Who was in the lineup that day today?
Yeah, who took over at shortstop for Cal Ripken.
What year would we say it was? 98?
98.
Is he a famous person? Or relatively?
Well, he's a big league ball player.
Scruffy McScrufferson or anything like that.
No.
Who do you got?
Mike Bordick.
Oh, Mike Bordick.
Yeah.
Former Oakland A's great, right?
Sure.
Well, that's when he put on the old resume. I was the guy.
Yeah. Send him to the bench.
Cal, I really got to get Bordick in there today. Eric Cahill trying to get a bunt down, but he's behind 0-2. Did you ever play with a guy like that who just was in there every day, ride him in 162? Those guys are few and far between.
Yeah. Seems like Will Clark might have had a couple seasons with the Giants that he played every game.
Cahill with 2 strikes gets a nice bunt down and moves Gregorius along.
Of course, I had Gonzo. We had to play him every day.
The only guy I can think of that's like that right now, where he'd probably fight his manager if he tried to take him out of the lineup, is Hunter Pence.
Hunter Pence, absolutely. And I think Hunter Pence, too, given the high energy, intense player that he is, would probably benefit from a day off from time to time. But like you said, Bochy would have to fight him to get him to sit out a game.
Inciarte single to lead off the ball game. He's 1 for 2. Ender now with a 9-game hitting streak. That shadow from the light tower moving across the infield now. There's the strike, 0-1.
I've told the story many times in the past about Gonzo. All you had to do to get him going, if he was in a little bit of a mini slump, sidle up to him during batting practice. Well, you look a little tired. Bat looks a little slow. I think I'm going to give you tomorrow off. You were going to get 3 or 4 hits that night for sure.
I don't want to use the word manipulate. Well, that has negative connotation. But how much of your job was just those kind of little mind games?
Oh, a lot of it. I mean, so much of this game is mental.
That's well hit, but right at Paulson. And they'll strand Gregorius. But Jake Lamb, his 4th home run of the season, as the Diamondbacks on the board. And as we head to the home half of the 5th here in Denver, it's 4-1 Rockies. Arizona is brought to you in part by Phoenix International Raceway. Don't miss the NASCAR semifinals on November 9th. Get tickets for the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500 at phoenixraceway.com. And by Panda Express, introducing Panda Express online ordering. Denver, Colorado, D-backs and Rockies. Trevor Cahill is out there for the home half of the fifth. He trails at 4-1. Bob, kind of a weird day for Trevor so far. He's worked 4 innings, so that means he's got 12 outs, but he's given up 9 hits, yet has 8 strikeouts.
Go figure.
That is weird, wild stuff.
Yeah, the good news is he hasn't walked anybody in this ball game. His command hasn't been pinpoint, but it's been good enough to work himself back into some counts and get some big punch outs when he's needed them.
Corey Dickerson, who had an RBI triple in the first, leads off the Colorado fifth. Dickerson, McHenry, Paulson, 4, 5, and 6. This is in the air to right field. Peralta backing up at the track, at the wall, and it's gone in the bullpen. Corey Dickerson is 24th, and it's 5-1 Colorado. Well, he's got the triple and the homer. He's halfway to the cycle. An 0-1 pitch in the Rocky bullpen.
Once again, going back to the scouting report at the start of the ball game, Corey Dickerson was kind enough to give us his evaluation of Trevor Cahill. Said he was going to look middle away for the sinker, try to adjust to the changeup, and he's done a pretty good job so far in this game with a triple and a homer.
And you know, if the Rockies trade Carlos Gonzalez, which you can argue they should do, as Mike McHenry, the catcher, steps up, because you know, the Mets might part with some young pitching. There was some reports earlier those two teams had discussed a trade for Cargo, at least according to the New York newspapers. If you do trade Cargo, Corey Dickerson is a guy for me you build around. I mean, what's not to like at this point?
He's a much cheaper option at this stage, and with Carlos Gonzalez's injury history, I don't think you can move forward as an organization if you're the Rockies with 2 huge question marks right in the middle of your lineup.
And expensive ones, too.
Expensive ones, yeah. I think Tulowitzki, if you had to pick one of the 2, would probably be a big fan favorite and probably the organization favorite to keep around. But both guys spend a lot of time on the disabled list.
Dickerson is only 25 years old. Just crushing the ball right now. He might wind up a few plate appearances shy of winning the batting title, and he hits for power. He can hit for a high average. He's got good raw power. That one is snared by Mark Trumbo at first. Mark has made a couple of nice plays down there today. And how about this? I mean, it had a stretch where over a course of 10 games they scored only 27 runs, but the previous 4, and then counting today as well, 53 runs in 4.5 games.
6 extra base hits already in the ball game today, and we're only in the 5th inning.
2 homers, 2 triples, 2 doubles. Paulson gets a hold of one and drives it to left center field. A.J. Pollock is there, 2 down. Brings up Rafael Inoa. Bullpen is quiet so far for the Diamondbacks. Cahill at 86 pitches. Things are a little thin back there these days. Things be just beginning to get busy out there now as Inoa looks at strike 1. Randall Delgado is starting to loosen up a bit. Yes, he went. Adrian Johnson down at 3rd. 0-2. Weird day for Trevor Cahill. He's got more fly ball outs than ground ball outs, but welcome to Coors Field. Here's a ground ball out waiting to happen. Chris Owings is over there, picks it up and throws him out. But Corey Dickerson gets his 24th home run of the year, and after 5, the D-backs trail it 5-1.
Mental thing, you know, having your routine during the day to prepare for the game and getting your head right. You know, really that's the main goal is just to be prepared as possible and feel prepared, because then when you go up there, you know, you really just let the instincts take over, and you know, hopefully the results follow.
Geico quoted the game, A.J. Pollock due up here after David Peralta. And guys, a lot of talk about A.J. coming back, picking up where he left off in May and where he'll hit in that order. I know you guys discussed a little bit, maybe even in the 3 spot. That's something Kirk Gibson brought up as you look toward next year. But I think it's very comforting to see there that A.J. now, he feels so good about his preparation that when he gets into the game, he's much more relaxed.
And the extra base hits, Bob, before and after the injury, been coming in bunches for A.J. So maybe instead of being a leadoff man, he is a guy you hit somewhere 5th or 6th. Obviously, Goldie's going to hit 3rd. But you could put him in any one of several spots in your batting order.
Yeah, he's a very versatile hitter in that respect, especially because of his speed. You'd like him up at the top because he can score from first base on an extra base hit, score from second on just about everything. That one's pulled foul down the first base line. But because of that power that we saw from him, especially earlier in the season when he was driving the ball in the gaps and out of the park, you like him in an RBI spot. So I think once again, it really depends on the cast of characters around A.J. Pollock and Paul Goldschmidt as Peralta bangs one up the middle for a base hit.
His first start since September 5th, and he's been on base twice, a walk and a single. Peralta has now hit in 18 of his last 21 games. Leadoff man aboard, and here is A.J. So far 0 for 2. Jim Wright, the pitching coach. Rookie Eddie Butler, just his 2nd major league start, a first-round pick in the draft 2 years ago out of Radford. Franklin Morales is warming up in the Rocky bullpen. And I would imagine, Bob, that based on what they saw in his major league debut 3 months ago when he gave up 6 runs on 10 hits in 5 1/3 against the Dodgers, that this was just what they were looking for today in his 2nd big league start.
Well, you mentioned it before. Walt Weiss said he pitched a lot better than his numbers indicated in that first start. He's pitched really well today. Only 1 strikeout, only 1 walk, 1 run allowed on the solo homer by Jake Lamb. Scattered 5 hits.
Made that big league debut June 6th. Had some soreness in his shoulder, so he was immediately shut down. Worked on some shoulder strengthening exercises, so he's had 3 months in between big league starts. And as we told you at the top of the show, the coaching staff for the Rockies, their message to Eddie Butler was attack the strike zone. Jim Wright said, I told him attack, 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 pitch to contact. And he has certainly done that. A.J. Pollock, as Blackmon broke back, now comes in. And he's got it for the first out in the 6th.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Trumbo 0 for 2. He has grounded out twice. D-back nation here. Looks like that young man got a pitch up and in on the hand.
Maybe sliding head first into a base. Who knows?
To sign him up for the Brenly Sliding Clinic. Do we get a date for that yet?
Not yet. For some guys, it may take all winter, but we'll work on that. You know, I don't even know if teams practice that anymore in spring training. It used to be part of your fundamental drills that you would work on various days of the week, and one day would always be sliding practice. And I think, you know, if guys got strawberries, a few guys may have twisted an ankle or whatever, and everybody decided that was no longer a good idea.
Nice backhand stab by Inoa at third, and they turn the double play. Rafael Inoa, as Trumbo hits one hard down the third base line, turns 2. And the Rockies lead at 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th at Coors. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. Downtown Denver, Colorado. We're in lower downtown, Lodo, as it's known here, where the Rockies are leading the Diamondbacks 5-1, and the new pitcher on for Colorado, to face Colorado as we start the 6th inning, is Randall Delgado.
Numbers for Randall Delgado this season split between the starting rotation and the bullpen. Another guy that some question marks where he fits into things moving forward. At times has looked brilliant out there on the mound. At other times has given up some monster home runs. Tends to make a lot of mistakes up over the heart of the plate. And this is not the ballpark to make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, Randall this year seems to be kind of an unfinished puzzle. Still not sure if he's best suited in the rotation or the bullpen. Trevor Cahill done. Trevor went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs, all earned on 10 hits. He did not walk a batter, had 8 strikeouts, but he leaves trailing 5-1. Christian Adames leads off the Rockies 6th against Randall Delgado. Pitcher spot is due up next, and that's going to be it for Eddie Butler, apparently, as Brandon Barnes is in the on-deck circle. A little bouncer to second. Chris Owens throws him out, 1 down. Hey fans, the most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with MLB.com at bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. You'll enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV game of the day, and a whole lot more. You can get at bat for your smartphone or your tablet on the App Store or visit MLB.com. Well, pinch hitter extraordinaire Brandon Barnes. This is one of the better pinch hitters in all of baseball. Hits for the pitcher Eddie Butler. Barnes has got 16 hits in 59 at bats as a pinch hitter this year. He's hitting .253 for the season, but in this role he's a .271 hitter. And puts another one on the list. This guy is a pinch hitter this year, 4 doubles, 3 triples, and 2 homers. And he's got a 1-out single here.
Yeah, Barnes wearing the long sleeves today, so you can't see his tattoos all the way down to his wrist. He is inked up all over the place. I said, "What's next for you?" He said, "I'm thinking about getting," and these were his words, "a host of angels on my back." A host of angels.
Charlie Blackmon. A host?
That's what he said, yeah.
Meaning like a lot?
I guess.
Still trying to talk you into getting a neck tattoo like some of the guys have. Felix Hernandez, Yadier Molina.
I'll just go full Mike Tyson right across the face.
Blackmon tripled and scored in the third. He singled his last time. This is a look at Brandon Barnes. They call them sleeves, right?
Yeah.
Because they look like sleeves.
And they all mean something to him, all have some kind of significance, other than the host of angels. Not sure about that one, but said he's going to think about it when he goes back home to Anaheim after the season.
0-2 on Blackmon. Yeah, Barnes is from Anaheim, went to Cypress College. Yeah, maybe it is from Anaheim. Maybe it's a bunch of angels. Maybe he's going to get like a Tim Salmon tattoo. One of those guys. Bobby Grich. Randall Delgado just blows away Blackmon. 2 down.
Just a little bit higher than Charlie Blackmon could handle that time. Good elevated fastball up above the top of the zone.
Josh Rutledge having a good day. A 2-run homer in the third. He singled his last time up. He's 2 for 3. He's hit safely in 6 straight. Blackman's still only 25 years old. And when he lost the second base job to DJ LeMahieu last year, it looked like he might be a guy for whom the Rockies would move on. Might not have a spot for him. 96 from Delgado. It's 0-2. But Walt Weiss said this spring they still feel like Rutledge can be an impact player, and they have not given up on him. And he has certainly done a pretty good job filling in the gap left by Troy Tulowitzki's injury. He's missed the whole second half of the year. Barnes takes off. The throw from Montero is into center field. Chris Owings able just to knock it down and get a glove on it. That slowed Barnes's progress. So the Rockies have a runner at second with 2 outs.
That's what happens when you rush a throw without a good grip. Look at that ball tailing back toward right center field. Started right over the base and looked like it was headed for the gap in right center by the time it got out there. Occasionally in your haste to get that ball out of the glove and get rid of it quickly, you just don't get the seams or have it held off center just a little bit and can't make a true throw.
Barnes runs pretty well out there. 5 stolen bases. So he's in scoring position. A 1-2 count on Rutledge. Justin Morneau is on deck. Dark shadows around the plate area right now. And Delgado strikes out Rutledge. 2 strikeouts in the inning. He strands the 1-out single and sends us 2-7. The D-backs trail at 5-1. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Jake Lamb, he homered his last time up, his 4th of the year. Brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox. Downtown Denver, D-backs trail the Rockies 5-1. 7th inning here at Coors Field. Steve Berthew, Bob Brentley, and Jody Jackson with you. New pitcher for Colorado on in relief of Eddie Butler. He looked good in his second big league start, the veteran Franklin Morales.
Yeah, we saw him in game 1 of this series. 2 innings of 1-hit shutout relief work. He's another guy that's been bounced in and out of the starting rotation. Closing out the season here, pitching out of the bullpen.
Defensively behind Morales, Brandon Barnes, who hit for Butler, will stay in the game. He'll take over in right field, replacing Ben Paulson. Barnes will hit 9th. And so the pitcher spot is now 6th in the Rockies order.
Which would mean that spot will roll around 4th in the bottom half of the 7th inning. I would assume Morales just in for 1 inning of work here, and they'll take him down for a pinch hitter when that spot comes up.
Miguel Montero leads off the 7th. Miggy singled in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. Montero, Owings, Lamb, 5, 6, and 7.
Now, the Rockies don't shift as much as a lot of teams do on Miguel Montero. Hardly at all. Just cheating the shortstop up the middle a little bit, but Ynoa playing deep down there at third base, and Miggy had thoughts about dropping a bunt down that third baseline.
Plenty of room over there, that's for sure. But now with 2 strikes, he'll swing away, and he drives it to right center field. That ball gets down, and Barnes is able to cut it off. Montero takes the turn, heads for second, and Miggy is in there. Miguel Montero hustling in his 23rd double.
Fortunately, there was a little confusion there. The Rockies were setting up a double cutoff to third base to make sure Miguel Montero didn't go any farther than second. Shortstop Josh Rutledge was out trailing the second baseman Adames on the relay play and had to retreat back to the bag. Just missed that throw. I don't believe they would have gotten Miggy anyway, but nobody was there at the base to apply a tag.
Leadoff man in scoring position for Chris Owings. The 6th hit for the Diamondbacks. CO 0 for 2. Struck out his last time up. Pitcher's mound in bright sunlight out there now, as you can see from your picture, and the dark shadow has completely encompassed home plate.
I mentioned on that Miggy double that both middle infielders went out to set up a double cutoff to third base. Generally, the first baseman is the guy that covers a bag on a play like that, because once Miggy clears first base, there's nothing for Morneau to do. So you generally trail that runner to second base just in case there's a play. But you can see Rutledge tries to backpedal to the bag. Morales coming in from the mound. Neither one of them can quite get there in time, and Miggy in with a sliding double.
Kind of a mess in there.
Yeah, on that play, the first baseman has nothing else to do. Once you watch the runner hit first base, make sure he touches the bag with his foot, you just turn and follow him to second base.
That's part of his job, make sure he touches the bag.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it should be. That's what the way we were always taught. If you're the first baseman, you always watch that runner and make sure he hits the bag.
2-2. Well, it is dark in that plate area. Beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky here. CO gets all tied up inside and strikes out, 1 down. Brings up Jake Lamb. Jake homered. His last time up, his 4th of the year. That's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. He smoked one to right.
Came on an 85-mile-per-hour hanging changeup and just a screaming line drive over that out-of-town scoreboard.
11 hits in his last 11 games, including a couple of home runs. That one just missed Didi in the on-deck circle. That was close.
Wow.
Jake Lamb, when he was at the University of Washington, a freshman with the Huskies, had a big year. Got a lot of attention from the scouts to put on big batting practice shows. Starting to see some of that power here at the big league level as he advances Montero into third with 2 outs. RBI chance for Didi Gregorius. Didi singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. So Didi now with 9 hits in his last 12 games. Pitcher spot is due up next. Looks like Cody Ross is in the on-deck circle. Miguel Montero at third, 2 down.
Didi looking like he wanted to slap bunt that ball to the left side of the infield, but pulls it back, takes the pitch low. Just started to slide his hands up the bat ever so slightly and started to square around.
See Noah running in from third there.
Bunting is just like hitting. It has to be a good pitch. Yeah, if you're going to bunt, you want something down where you're pretty sure you're going to hit the top part of the baseball and keep the ball on the ground, but it's the same thing. You're looking for a certain pitch you want to bunt into play, and if it's not there, take it.
A run at third with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Slaps it foul. Always going to what you always say, emergency mode here with 2 strikes, especially with 2 outs. But knowing now you got that runner at third, all you need is have it drop in somewhere. And he strikes out, and they strand the leadoff double. Stretch time at Coors Field. D-backs trail at 5-1.
His first appearance since Sunday, game against the Padres, where he threw just a third of an inning. Oliver Perez been dealing with a little bit of dead arm, the coaches have been calling it. I talked to Mel Stottlemyre Jr. today. He said, look, I almost wanted to get him in the game last night because we didn't want him to have too much of a layoff, but he's had 4 complete days off, guys, and he's ready to go.
Well, he better be. He's in there now in the 7th inning. A workhorse for sure out of that bullpen this year.
I didn't recognize him coming in out of the bullpen because he's wearing his pants right down on his shoe tops today. Oli Perez is always a guy that has his pants hiked up to the knee there. I had to look at the scorecard to see what number this guy was. Didn't look like Oli coming in from the pen.
Well, they gave him a 2-year deal during spring training, and boy, has that been a terrific signing by the D-backs front office. He has been stellar back there in that bullpen, but we'll see if he can battle through some of that arm fatigue here. As Justin Morneau leads off the 7th. Morneau, Dickerson, McHenry, the sharp end of the Rockies order in the 7th inning.
That dead arm syndrome, it's hard to describe to somebody that hasn't thrown a ball, excessively for a living or playing on a team, but it's not a painful thing. Your arm doesn't hurt. It just feels like there's nothing there. You can't generate any arm speed. Can't get any velocity, can't get the proper rotation on your breaking pitches. That's about the most apt description you can give, is a dead arm. It doesn't hurt, it just doesn't work right.
And then it just seems to somehow come back at some point.
Yeah, and most pitchers go through it in spring training. About 2/3 of the way through spring training, most pitchers will have a few days, maybe a week of dead arm. And then generally they bounce back from it and go throughout the season, maybe go through a couple of spells of dead arm throughout the year, especially a guy like Perez that's used so much.
It's Morneau to chase one there. It's 2-2. Can't hold up. It kicks away. Miggy can't find it, and Morneau is going to reach on the strikeout.
A little bit of an extra hesitation right there at the top for Oliver Perez. Short hop, Miguel Montero right off the thumb of his glove and all the way to the backstop. Morneau able to reach on the strikeout.
Strikeout in the wild pitch.
That's how good this Rockies offense has been recently. Even when they strike out, they get base runners.
Well, look at it this way. He's got the chance to strike out 4 guys in 1 inning. Although getting Dickerson out is no easy task these days. He's got a triple and a homer.
Tough conditions right now for the hitters. You talked about those shadows moving across, and right now the shadows about 2/3 of the way out to the mound. Pitcher standing in bright sunlight. The batter's eye is in bright sunlight, and the hitter and probably about 40 feet in front of him in the shadows. Watch this ball as it goes from the sun into the shade.
You mentioned not a cloud in the sky here. It's just an absolutely gorgeous day. It's really dark around that home plate area. And you've got Peralta out there in right field, just really fighting bright sunlight now. Can he see the ball from out there off the bat?
You hope so. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it really takes a lot of concentration, a lot of focus. He's got the shades on. Use his glove and his bare hand to shield his eyes when that ball goes up in the air, but real tough conditions for the right fielder right now.
He's fighting the sun as it is, and he's so far away, but boy, it's got to be tough to see the ball come off the bat. He's got a balk. First base umpire Toby Bastner calls a balk on Perez, and Morneau, who struck out and reached, is now balked to second.
I believe they're saying he didn't stop. Just kind of a bump off the belt and then go. I mean, we've seen Ollie do that all season long. It's the third balk of the season called on Oliver Perez.
A ball and 2 strikes on Corey Dickerson with Morneau at second. Todd Helton down there almost made a heck of a play. Guy in a Helton jersey sitting in the first row of seats right behind the tarp. Got some major hops down there. Almost snared that with his bare hand. Probably lucky he didn't. Tough to see. Dickerson strikes out. So he's halfway there, Oliver Perez. One away, Mike McHenry. By the way, speaking of Todd Helton, I did make it a point to go down and try the Todd Helton burger. He's got a stand out there.
And
in left field, you can only get the Todd Helton burger at the one place, just behind the seats in the left field concourse. The wife and I went down there before the game, and I got to say, 2 thumbs up.
Nice.
She loved the onion rings, but I would highly recommend the Todd Helton burger. But after we, they got a little area set up there where you can eat and stand, and there's a little counter. We had lunch out there, a little fine dining. But as we were walking back toward the press area, we passed one of those little barbecue stands. Here's a shot of them making the Todd Helton burgers. And at this barbecue stand, they had some horrifying thing that I couldn't imagine ever eating. It was, how do I describe it? Bacon cooked in chocolate. Chocolate covered bacon. How about that? And we had just crushed a couple of Helton burgers as McHenry strikes out. So we didn't have any room for the chocolate covered bacon, and even if we had, I'm not sure we would have tried it. But
cardiologist special.
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Matt McBride is going to hit for the pitcher spot, which is 6th in the Rockies order. Christian Friedrich, the son of the former Brenly family dentist, is warming up in the bullpen. Little known fact. There he is. Matt McBride, 240, couple of home runs, just 25 at bats in the big leagues. Homered off of Del Nuno earlier this year. So how about this, Oliver Perez? I was just kidding around before. He's 1 strike away from striking out 4 batters in 1 inning. Morneau led off the inning by striking out, but reached first on a wild pitch. He was balked to second. Dickerson struck out. McHenry struck out. Now he's 0-2 on McBride. Guy comes in with a dead arm, strikes out 4 guys in 1 inning. How are we looking?
We should all have dead arms. Wow. Only throwing hard, low 90s consistently.
Still 1-2. Trying to get that punch out here. And there it is, the shadow knows here at Coors Field. The sunlight, the shadow, the whole thing. Oliver Perez strikes out 4 Rockies in 1 inning. And they strand Morneau at second. We'll head to the 8th. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Ender Inciarte will hit. A lot of great matchups you won't want to miss, including exciting weekend series against the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Cubs. You can lock in your seats today at a guaranteed discount price off single game pricing with a weekend season ticket plan. Now, the weekend plan gets you every Saturday and Sunday game plus opening day, Monday, April 6th. So call 602-514-8400 or visit dbacks.com/tickets. D-back Nation on the road with us here in Denver as we start the 8th inning. D-backs trail at 5-1. And the new pitcher for the Colorado Rockies, the third this afternoon, the son of Bob Brenly's former dentist. It's Christian Friedrich.
Dr. William Friedrich.
Little known fact.
Northwestern Dental Center.
Jordan Pacheco, the former Rocky, will hit for the pitcher to lead it off. Now, did you know he had a son that was a ball player?
Oh, yeah.
That had to come up, right?
It came up, yeah. I didn't know anything about Christian Friedrich at the time, but obviously I started paying a little more attention to him. He's been a starter throughout his minor league career, pitching out of the bullpen here for the Rockies. They like him a lot. What's not to like about a big, tall left-hander?
Off the glove of Inoa at third base as Pacheco hit a rocket over the head of the third baseman. And it goes into left for a leadoff single. So Jordan Pacheco, in his last 9 at-bats, now has 6 hits.
The ball just got on him so quickly, he couldn't get the glove up there high enough to make the catch. Just skipped off the webbing and on into left field for a leadoff hit.
Last 9 at-bats, 6 hits and 5 RBIs for Jordan Pacheco. He's had a nice series here against his former team. And it's Ender Inciarte, who's 1 for 3, a single to lead off the ball game. Ender since August 1st has played in 45 games, all starts, and hit over 290. And since the beginning of last month, he's got a .350 on base percentage. That was one of the knocks on him earlier. As a rookie, wasn't getting on base quite enough. Certainly not as much as you like to see from a leadoff guy, but that is also trending in the right direction for the D-backs. Goes bunt, takes a strike, 2-1.
Well, not only Ender Inciarte, but that's something that the entire Diamondbacks offensive unit needs to improve upon next year. They're next to the last in the National League in drawing walks. Only the Rockies have drawn fewer walks this year.
And if you're the Rockies, you can get away with it because they got, 9 guys that are going to hit 20 homers. Diamondbacks not so much. Inciarte strikes out, 1 down. Brings up David Peralta. David back in the starting lineup for the first time since September 5th. Missed a dozen games with that lower back strain. Saw him pinch hit last night. Starting out there in right field today, he walked in the 4th and singled his last time up. 1 for 2. David Peralta, we are told by our sources on the team, meaning Oscar Soria and Rodrigo Lopez, working D-back Spanish language radio broadcast. They got that all locked down today, that Peralta will go as soon as the season ends and play winter ball in Venezuela. It's going to take about a week and then go down there and play winter ball. His manager will be Henry Blanco.
How about that? Good for Hank White, getting an opportunity to manage down in the Venezuelan Winter League.
So David will finish out the calendar year with a full year of baseball and take a month or 2 off and see at Salt River.
Henry Blanco was a guy throughout his playing career. Everybody assumed that he was going to make a really good coach or manager. I'm glad to see him getting that opportunity down there in Venezuela.
Been working on getting that locked down over the course of this year. There is Henry Blanco, the Diamondbacks assistant hitting coach. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He's got some ink as well. Looking about Brandon Barnes' arm tattoos. When did you first think, I might like to try that managing thing?
I don't think I had a conscious thought of it, but especially later in my career playing for Roger Craig, and when Don Zimmer was on the coaching staff in San Francisco, and Bob Lillis, who was a really good baseball man, and I learned so much from those guys. Oh,
a little nubber to second.
Well, I think Peralta caught McHenry in the side of the head with the backswing right there. McHenry went down in a pile at home plate as David Peralta sprinted up that first baseline.
Gave the trainer the thumbs up.
I heard the bat hit helmet. Man. Hopefully he's all right. Going down into a position to possibly block the ball if it hit in the dirt and kind of came forward a little bit, and David really extended on that backswing right there. Oh, bad combination.
Well, Willeen Rosario had the day off after catching the ball game last night. They have Jackson Williams on their roster, a catcher as well.
I think they're calling for a relief pitcher from the Rockies bullpen.
Friedrich is going to come out of the game. We'll see about McHenry. So Wallweiss will go to the mound and get a new pitcher. Looks like McHenry is staying in. D-backs trail at 5-1 at Coors Field. Back after this. Winner as selected by Jeff Munn, the star of Snake Talk on the radio side after every home game. Money on the Brenly committee today, and the winner is Kelly.
Oh, yeah. Solid contact there with the big D-back dog.
Solid contact. So Money keeps working his way up the charts here. Jeff Munn on the selection committee today. Thanks to all of you who tweeted in your fan photo, brought to us by AT&T. Adam Ottavino, the new pitcher. He's ahead of A.J. Pollock 0-1. A.J. 0 for 3 today. There's a strike, 0-2. Money is just going right down the middle. He's taking it out of the playbook, get the old logos in there, the food.
He's read the advance report. He knows how to hit the commissioner.
Called strike 3. Ottavino rings up Pollock. And they strand Pacheco at second. Bottom 8 coming up. D-backs trail at 5-1. postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series, and it all begins this October. Bottom of the 8th inning here at Coors Field. New pitcher for the D-backs is the right-hander Will Harris. He'll face the lower third of the Colorado order. Noah, Adames, and Barnes, 7, 8, 9. Rafael Noah doubled in the second. He's 1 for 3. Left-hand batter's box now in sunlight, and the shadows are right over the pitcher's mound. On a beautiful day for baseball here at Coors Field. What a spectacular day in downtown Denver. And it's a great ballpark to check out a day game. Not a bad seat in the house here. Nice and comfortable, warm in the sunshine. And no better spot to watch the ball game. Oh, check swing roller to shortstop that Gregorius scoops up. Best spot here is the rooftop, which has become one of the hot spots all over the major leagues right now. Those were all basically dead seats, big empty dead seats they had way out there high above right field. They tore it apart and built that rooftop area. It's 2 sort of floors, as you can see, and that is the hot ticket in town now, and it's become a big money maker for the Rockies. You say, well, they're going to take out all those seats. Aren't they going to lose a lot of money? Well, no one ever sat out there anyway.
No, they were always empty anyway, other than opening day.
And now they're packing them in up there. And Tom Candiotti, Leo Gilmartin, the wife Cindy Brunson, and myself all walked up there before the ball game the other day and checked out the view. Second time we've made it up there this year, and it is just spectacular up there. They did a wonderful job. And the views, of course, of all, you can see all the mountains, all downtown Denver.
Yeah, you can see on the right there the bleachers as they go all the way up to the top of the stadium. That's the way it used to be all the way across right field. Just seats after seats after seats. They took them out, put in the rooftop area, bars and restaurants, places to socialize, and a great view of the game from up there.
And let me tell you, you are way up there. It's a little too high for comfort, especially if you're leaning against that front railing. You know, the whole front section there is a little counter, and you can lean against it and stand and eat your food and have your drink and watch the game, but you are way up. In fact, you're a mile high.
You're a mile high, yeah. They painted a couple of rows of seats purple right up near the top of the stadium, and certainly that's where most of that rooftop area is, where those purple seats used to be.
1-2 on Adames. Yeah, there's your mile marker.
And that used to wrap all the way around, and that's the area now that makes up the rooftop.
And they have a number up there where the seats used to be, which says 5280, the elevation 5,280 feet. And you're standing there and watching the game a mile up in the air. And you feel like you're a mile high. They got open bars, restaurants, they got a lounge, they got a DJ up there. There's your elevation marker. And you see, like that guy in the front there, he just kind of lean against the counter, socialize, and it's become a big hit here in Colorado. We were in Cleveland earlier this year, and the Indians figured out the same thing. They got all these dead seats in that big ballpark, Progressive Field. They're going to tear that up this winter and build one of those sections out there in Cleveland where the fans can congregate as Adames looks at strike 3. And, you know, they built one in Safeco Field, Seattle. They have one in Atlanta. Just kind of a social area. Some of the young fans like to go out there and hang out.
St. Louis did theirs a little differently. It's kind of across the street in left center field, but you can go on the rooftop over there and watch the ball game.
They did a wonderful job on that, too. So you kind of built Wrigley Field rooftop seating on the top of buildings across the street. And, you know, they've always had at these ballparks kid areas. Chase Field's great for that. And now they kind of built, you know, adult social areas where you can hang out and have a drink. Never know who you might meet out there. Some of the boys head out to the ball game. Beautiful day to be here. I was up there taking some pictures with the old cell phone, and went up there with Leo and Candy. Leo was getting a little nervous because we were up so high.
I would think Leo would be used to that, the way he oversees everything from his throne in the back of the booth.
It's an excellent point. But I'm standing there taking a picture to put out on the Twitter, and Leo wants to get down, and he says to me, "Hey, Ansel Adams, can we wrap it up? I want to get down." All right, I'm coming. Well, you're right. Leo usually does kind of position himself on his lofty perch. As the radio engineer overseeing Diamondback Radio, right behind Greg Schulte and Tom Candiotti in the radio booth. Two balls, two strikes to Brandon Barnes. And Will Harris gets two strikeouts, works a 1-2-3 inning. And we go to the ninth. D-backs trail at 5-1. The Rockies, one in the first and three in the third. A couple of home runs, a two-run shot by Josh Rutledge, a solo homer by Corey Dickerson. They lead at 5-1 as we start the ninth. And some D-backs history as we showed you in the seventh inning. Oliver Perez, 4 strikeouts in 1 inning. Justin Morneau there struck out to lead off the inning, but reached on a wild pitch. And then Perez struck out Dickerson, McHenry, and McBride. So 4 strikeouts in 1 inning for Oliver Perez. That makes him our APS Energy All-Star. That's a Diamondback record.
Only 71 times in baseball history has that happened. I guess congratulations to Oliver Perez.
It's the 3rd time it's happened in the major leagues this year. The other 2, Zach Greinke did it for the Dodgers against the Giants in July. And the Cubs' Justin Grimm did it last month versus the Cardinals. LaTroy Hawkins on to finish this thing out for the Rockies. Mark Trumbo, Miguel Montero, Chris Owings, 4, 5, and 6 in the Arizona ninth. Trumbo so far 0 for 3. This is well hit over the head of Barnes to right field off the base of the wall. Mark Trumbo will settle for a long, hard hit single.
First delivery from LaTroy Hawkins, a belt high fastball, middle of the plate. Trumbo drives it out to right field. And Barnes, he barely moved that ball, just rocketed over his head right off the base of the wall.
Miguel Montero, Miggy, 2 hits today, a single in the second, a double in the seventh. He's 2 for 3. Ball one.
Yeah, it may feel like a comfortable 4-run lead for the Rockies, but I guarantee you Walt Weiss is not comfortable in that first base dugout.
I wouldn't imagine.
Leads can disappear in a hurry in this ballpark.
11 hits for the Rockies, 8 for the D-backs. There's a strike call from Mike Everett, 1-1. That looked like it might have been a bit outside. Miggy seems to think so. That face, it's like, all right. Dinger has shown up again, leading 5-1. Dinger, the front-running mascot. Right on cue. It is chopped over the head of Inoue at third. Chopped way up in the air and just over the head of Inoue. And the first two have reached for the D-backs in the ninth against LaTroy Hawkins.
The old AstroTurf base hit here, just bang it down off that trampoline home plate over the head of Inoue at third base. He just hit that ball straight down.
And so the tying run for the D-backs is on deck in Jake Lamb. Here's Chris Owings. Owings 0 for 3. He has struck out his last 2 times up. CO lifts that in the air to right field. Barnes comes in and makes the catch. They have a play on it first. And Montero just does get back in time. Miggy thought that might drop in front of Barnes, but he closed and made the catch for the first down.
That's a tough one for a base runner, because if it does drop, Miguel Montero then has to beat the throw to second base. He got out there about a third of the way to second and just does get back ahead of the throw.
One down now, and the batter is Jake Lamb, the rookie third baseman who homered in the 5th, his 4th of the year. Scolded one out to right that just did clear that scoreboard out there. There's another chopper, this one to second base. Adames makes the easy play. 2 down now, and the runners advance second and third. Well, it's up to Didi to keep this thing going. Gregorius singled in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. If the Rockies hang on and win this one, the season series will be tied at 9 wins apiece with 1 to play. There's a strike, 0-1. Pitcher spot is next. Cody Ross would be next if Gregorius can reach. Two. There's Dinger, the front-running mascot, leading the cheers here. We kid.
Didi reacted kind of funny after getting out of the way of that inside pitch. Kind of flexing his hip.
He might have tweaked something there.
Backside as he tries to get it out of the way right there. Hopefully he's okay.
A ball and 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 outs. Out of play. Right back to the same spot.
Same reaction on that inside pitch.
That back leg just moves out. It's full 3-2. Cody Ross would be next. He's the tying run in the on-deck circle. We've got Trumbo, the runner, at third. Montero at second. 2 outs, 3 balls, and 2 strikes to Didi Gregorius. In the air, left center field. Outfielders are playing very shallow. Blackman is way back there, but he tracks it down, and that's the ball game. Rockies win it 5-1. They have now won 5 in a row. They are in position to sweep the series here tomorrow afternoon.
Well, not a lot good to talk about today. Miguel Montero did have 3 base hits. None of them hit particularly hard. Jake Lamb with that line drive solo home run to right field, and another disappointing outing for Trevor Cahill.
Diamondbacks have now lost 5 in a row. They dropped to 31 games under 500. 5-1 the final. Back with more from Colorado coming up after this.